Hey everyone, this is the tutorial for Primetime 2. I know a lot of you have been waiting on this one. I appreciate you guys reaching out, being interested in this. This one is definitely a little bit more complex. Nothing too hard, I don't think. So I'm going to try to go over everything in here as good as I can. If I am confusing you on anything or if I'm missing something, please feel free to reach out. But this is the 3x4 here. We're just gonna kind of walk you through the layers real quick, and then I will start to replace the image and re-edit everything. All right, so this first folder here, bottom name, pretty self-explanatory. Got this down here. It's got a little bit of an outer glow, little gradient color overlay, drop shadow. Then you get a little just subtle fog, just like the first primetime template. Then you have your subject layers. So we have just a color grade on her that you can see here. Then this one here is pretty cool. It just kind of, if you notice, just around the edge of her, we're going to make this LED, these tube lights back here, look like it's kind of casting a little color on her. You can definitely tell on skin tones, like her legs down here, when I turn that on and off. And again, it's just very subtle, nothing crazy over the top. It's set at soft light, so it's just, you know. And then just the light flares, kind of like we did on the original primetime. So just to make it look like these LED lights are giving a little lens flare or wrapping light around where it intersects with the subject. And then obviously the subject. Cool. And then you have your top layers, same as the bottom. It's just a little gradient overlay, little outer glow, some drop shadow that's just actually creating more glow rather than an actual drop shadow. And then a vignette. And then you got your smoke backgrounds here, just like we had in the first one. These are a little more intense just because these LEDs give off a little more vibrant, intense light. And it just shows up through smoke a little more intensely to me. Feel free to play with opacities, things like that. Change the colors to not as vibrant or saturated if you prefer. And then the actual lights themselves. So when you open this up, you're going to see light flares. I did include some brushes where you can use to help you create these flares. Also, going back to the background smoke, I will include the brushes for these again. If you have the original primetime, it's the same brushes, nothing any different. Except this time I'm going to include these flare brushes, which are extremely easy to make yourself as well, which I'll show you once we get here. But basically these just kind of flare out these tube lights a little more, like you've probably seen in actual photos of these. The LED copies, all these are, that's turned off, all these are the actual lights themselves. Here, let me turn off those flares. You got a 3-foot, a 4-foot, and a 6-foot light. So if you want to grab these, make copies, pull them over, create crazy shapes, numbers, letters, whatever, you will grab those from the LED lights copies. So in this look, I just kind of set it up like a staggered, like it's kind of, they're going from big to small back behind her. Try to create a little dimension with it. So you open those up so you'll see the 6 in here. Feel free to keep it as it is or delete all of these out of here and come in here and create your own. However you want to do it. And then the thing that really kind of sells it for me more is just this color cast from the lights. So if you know these lights, they'll kind of just throw color everywhere. So with this, you can just kind of come in here and paint in the color of the light wherever you want. And then your background color, obviously. So let's get right into it here. I have my move tool selected with auto select turned on. Those of you guys that know or follow my tutorials, I'm constantly turning this on and off. Now in here it's going to be a little tricky because you do have a color overlay. So when you click her, it's going to click that color overlay that I turned on. So just come down a little bit into this subject folder. We're going to click that. So first thing I'm going to do is just pull my new subject in. I took these kids' pictures last night. I want to copy this guy. So I thought that pink would be perfect to kind of just showcase a little different color. Oh, sorry. I still have my auto select turned on. I'm going to turn that back off. I'm just going to turn it off. Come over here, grab my subject, Command or Control T, and I'm going to size him where I want him, probably about right there. Make him a little bigger. Right there. I'll keep it. I like to overlap the lettering just a little bit. It's just a preference of mine. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is I just like getting the text out of the way right away. I'm going to grab that text tool. I'm going to double click up here where it says North Lincoln, Command or Control A. I'm going to say Carolina. And I will resize everything when I'm done. I'm going to click here, say baseball. Whoops. Click the check mark, and then the main team name. They have a longer name. It's okay. River Rats. Alright, now, first thing I change is the team name because that's the biggest part. So I'm Command or Control T. And I'm just going to shrink that down about right there. Then I'll grab my sport layer. I'll click it over here. I'm just going to use Shift and arrow up on my keyboard. Oops, sorry, let me select move. Shift and arrow up. There we go. Now I want to spread this lettering out a little bit. Actually, I'm going to keep baseball where it's at. I'm going to double click in Carolina. That's just going to select it all. I'm going to come over here to the character icon. I have mine here. If you don't have one there, it's under Window, Character. And then this VA right here with the arrows out, I'm just going to use my arrow key. I'm pushing up. It's going kind of slow, so now I'm going to hold Shift and push up. It's going to go a little quicker. Bring it back down. I want to keep it about right there, the same size as baseball. Oh, sorry. And like a dummy, I told it not to do that instead. All right, let's do that one more time. So about right there. All right, now I'll click the check mark. All right, and let me get this annoying little bar out of the way so I can see what it's doing. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I'd be a little more nitpicky with it probably if I'm doing it for a client. Now I want to move the entire thing up just a little bit. Cool. All right, now what I'm going to do is just turn off this color cast on him because I'm going to start sampling colors off of his uniform, and I don't want that color cast on there to give me inaccurate colors. So I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to come down here. I like to start from the bottom. I'll kind of jump around. I want to keep that black. You can keep it whatever color you want. I recommend getting a darker color, even if it's like this red here. Just kind of come down, get like a darker red. It makes more sense for the smoke to show up and everything in a darker room. And then it'll kind of peek through here and there. So I want to keep it black though, because in their uniform, you can't tell in here, but their main colors are actually blue, white, and black. But they introduced this new kind of trending pink in their uniform and one of their alternate uniforms, so that's what we're using here. Anyway, so I did notice since we adjusted the text, he kind of shrank. So I'm going to turn my auto select on. Since I do not have my color cast on, I'm just going to select him now, and it did select just him. And I am going to make him a little bit bigger now. Right there. Perfect. Cool. All right. Back to the bottom. All right. Let's go ahead and keep working on the text. So I'm going to go back to the text. Let's go to the main folder. Right here at the main folder. I'm going to close it. So I'm just looking at the effects on the text. I'm going to keep the bevel on. I'm going to double click this gradient overlay. I'm going to click here, and since we moved it up, I'm going to play around with it here. I want that color to kind of come in right at the bottom of this text here. So I'm just moving this blue box just a little. And I want it to be subtle. Alright, so now I'm going to click this color swatch here, and it pulls up the little eyedropper tool. I'm going to grab this pink right off of his jersey. Sample around where the light's hitting it. So for the text, yeah, I'll do the darker pink here, a hot pink. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and do Command or Control C. I'm going to copy that pink right here, and I'm going to tell it OK. That'll help you later to make sure you have the same colors everywhere. All right, I'm not going to close it yet. We're going to go to our outer glow. I'm going to Command or Control V. I'm going to paste that pink here, and I can keep it that dark pink, or since it is an outer glow, I'm probably just going to make it a little lighter. And that's fine. Drop shadow, same thing. Excuse me. I'm going to click that color swatch, Command or Control V, put that pink in there, and I'm just going to make it a little bit lighter. Because these are just kind of the smoke and the glow around the outside of it that this light's going to be putting off. Alright, now let's go to this bottom. Let's go ahead and change his name. It is a minor, so I'm just going to pick a random name. Let's do Zach Brown. And this is a travel team, so I'm not going to do like a class. Instead, I'll come down here and I'll do a like a position. He's got a catcher's mitt here, so we'll just say catcher. Or you can just take that out altogether, just turn that off if you want, and just have a name. Or actually, what I'll do is I'll put a date, 2025, or a year. Cool. Now, same thing, we're going to come up to the main folder for the bottom name, and we're going to do the same thing here that we did up top. So I'm going to just double click anywhere, it doesn't matter. Gradient overlay, I'll click that again. We're going to click this blue. I'm going to keep the white. If you want to change the white, you can change that, that's fine. All I'm changing in this one is just the blue here. Command or Control V, we're going to put that pink back in it. Let's see, I'm going to slide this out, and I'm going to play with that some more. I'm just moving these around until I like where it's at. Again, you can end up getting really picky if you wanted. Alright, I'll keep it about right there. Alright, let's say OK. I'm going to go to outer glow, same thing. Command or Control V, I'm going to go with a lighter pink again. And the drop shadow again. Or what you could do if you wanted, here, let me show you. Let me grab this lighter pink again. If you wanted to, you could just come up here, or sorry, down here, close some stuff, and you could right click and say copy layer style and paste it up here. Same thing if you're doing multiple documents. So you got the team document, the square button document. That's how I'll change it across them too. I'll just come here, copy layer styles, go over there, paste it there. Alright, so we got our names done. Let's scroll back down to the bottom. Right here, I want to double click this blue. This is going to be our color cast in the background. There's a lot of color changes we got to make. There's a lot of different layers that creates all this color, and they all need to kind of be the same. So Command or Control V. So adding that color cast back here. Alright, now let's open up our, actually let's double click the LED tubes layer effects here. Just like we did the text, we're going to come in here. Command or Control V. Let's make it a little lighter. We can come in and change these in a minute once we get everything where we want it. Drop shadow, same thing. Command or Control V. See, it's starting to all turn pink. Speaking of copying text layers, we're going to do that here. So let's go, I like going to this last one. Let's just work on this one, which it should be this guy. Let's see. Outer glow. Yes, that last one. So, or sorry, inner glow. I'm going to keep that white because that just gives it a good glow in the middle. Color overlay. We're going to Command or Control V, give that pink. You want to do a lighter color on these because, again, just think there's a bright light coming out of that. That bright light's not going to come out dark. So here we're going to probably go really light on that pink, like right about here even. Say OK. Outer glow. Command or Control B. We're still putting that pink back in here. Let's do a lighter pink again. And then finally your drop shadow. Command or Control V. Now we're getting that pink. All right, let's just do that for now. We can come in and make adjustments if we need to. I'm going to right click on this one. I'm going to say copy layer style. And I'm going to click all the ones in this folder. Or actually what I'm doing is, here, let me show you again. I'm going to click this bottom one that we just changed. I'm going to come all the way, scroll to the top one right here. I'm going to hold shift. I'm going to click that one. And as you can see, they're all clicked now. And I'm going to right click and say paste layer style. And it turned them all that color. Now we're going to do the light flares. So I'm going to double click it, Command or Control V. You don't want it dark. You want that one really, really, really just subtly pink, like it's almost still white. You can see it here, just with a tad bit of pink in there. All right, now let's change the colored smoke. So this blue here. I'm going to double click that, Command or Control V. Now we have some pink. Let's play around, see what we like the most. Again, I like keeping it a little more saturated. Let's keep it right there. Now what I'm going to do is the bottom smoke. Here, let's see. Yep, right here. Foreground smoke. Double click that one, Command or Control V again. Right there. Keep it there. Cool. All right, now let's play with the colors on the subject. As you can see, it's still in the mask itself. It's outlined for the other subject we have. Same with the flare lights. So I want to make sure right here, if you look at if you just tap here, hit B for brush. We're not going to use the brush, but I don't know. I just like doing that because it kind of helps what we're about to do with reset the color. I'm going to hit D. And when you do that, it's going to make your foreground white, your background black. That's what we need on the masks. And I'm going to go ahead and hold Command or Control Delete. And that is going to turn that entire mask black. I'm going to do the same thing for this the subject edge color. I'm going to click the mask itself, not the layer, but the mask. Command or Control D. And it's going to turn that black. Cool. All right, while we're here, let's go ahead and turn on that color grade back on. It's blue. I want to tap it, double tap it. Command or Control V. I want to put that pink back in there. And let's see, we'll just kind of keep it subtle too. We're going to keep it about right there. Yeah, it's not doing too much to him really, but that's okay. If you want it to be stronger, if you look here, the opacity is just at default 25. You can crank it way up here, whatever you want to do. Let's keep it at about 50 actually for him. All right, and then on here, the subject color, we're going to do the same thing. Double click it, turn it pink, Command or Control V. Now we're going to paint that in. First, let's paint in the light flares for the just peeking around him. So I'm just going to grab a big round brush right here, not too big, just little. My flow's at 50% and I have white selected, and I'm going to paint that on black and just very subtly right here. See, I'm not like covering his arm, just right here on the edge. I'm just going to tap one time right there. About right here, I'll do it there, and as you see, looks like that color is just kind of coming around. I'll just do it right where the lights hit the body. And that's really all I'm going to do for this one. That was a pretty easy one. I might add a little more right here, a little more on the shoulder, or elbow, sorry. Maybe a tad bit more right there on that jersey. And that's it. Now let's click to this subject edge color. And I'm going to keep, here I want to make my brush even smaller. And again, I'm not going to come right on him. I'm just going to let that feather on him. So right here, I'm just going to kind of come around. It's at 50%. Actually, let's raise it to 100. If you want to do 50, feel free. I'm going to come around his hat just a little. And this is very subtle. You're not even going to notice it on pink. Let's get it just right on his skin just a little bit. You'll maybe start to notice it on the jersey here. Or on the pants, sorry. It's just very subtle. Around here on his arm. You really notice it with blues and reds and things like that. This one isn't really too noticeable, but that's okay. I am going to kind of come up right here on his cheek a little. So again, this isn't doing too much. As you see, it's just very subtle. And I am going to bring, since we did 100% on the brush, I'm just going to bring the opacity down to about 70. And that's really it for him. That's really it for the whole thing. If you're just going to use the default light spec here. Now, let's get into if you want to change these lights around. So, like I said, if that's all you want to do is use the lights that are already in the template, that's really all you're going to do. So, let's go ahead and reset these lights. So, I'm going to come down here within the, I'll close that smoke, within the background lights. I'm going to click this flare mask. Again, make sure I'm at foreground white, background black. Command or Control Delete. That's going to take all those flares out. Let's go ahead and with these tubes. Trying to think of what I'm going to do here. Just to keep it simple, I'm going to go ahead, ignore me. I'm going to export this as it is. Just because I want to save this later. Let's keep it here for now. Just want to keep it small. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these. Again, I'm holding Shift, clicking the first one, going down to the last one. Actually, I want to keep that last one in for now. Because what I'll do, well, no, I'll go ahead and show you here. All right, so let's just grab the 4-foot. And here's why I kept one in there, because I'm going to copy that layer, the layer effects from it again. I'm going to copy that, close this, open the LED tubes back up. I'm going to click the one that's there now, Command or Control V to paste this one in. Get the move tool, turn my auto select off because I don't know where that's at. Command or Control T, that's right behind him. We're just going to move that around. So as you see, it's still the default, like the blues in it. So same thing, we're going to right click the 6-foot one that was already there. I'm going to say copy layer styles. I'm going to click that 4-foot one and I'm going to paste it on there. Now the 6-foot one I can turn off or just delete it. Now with this one I'm going to Command or Control T. I'm going to do, you know what, let's just make a square out of it. Why not? So I want to move it right there. Command J or Control J to make a copy of that. Command or Control T. And I'm going to tell this guy right here to flip it 90 degrees. And I'm going to kind of bring it right there. I'm not changing the size of it because you want them all to be the same. And then I'm going to use my arrows to just kind of position it around. Again, in a real situation where you're using real lights, you're going to see the ends here. You can overlap them if you want. Let me use my shift plus my arrows just to kind of show you. You can do that, but I don't know. I feel like it sells the authenticity of it more. Excuse my stuttering here. If you just kind of let it look like it would naturally look. All right, so now we have the two. You can keep making copies. J, Command or Control J, sorry. I'm going to drag this down. Whoops. Yep, let's try that again. Where did that one go? All right, let's make another copy. I don't know what I just did, sorry. All right, so let's move that down and over. I noticed that hit undo too much, so let's go back to this one. Move it up and over. Cool. Now let's go back to this first one, this vertical one. Command or Control J. And we're going to move that guy way down here. Actually, I got an idea. Since this is baseball, we'll make a diamond out of it. So let's grab all four of these. Again, we're going to click that bottom one. Hold Shift, click that top one, or you can just select the whole folder, whichever. Actually, let's do that. Let's just close the folder. Here, we'll click out of it, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then we'll click the folder. Command or Control T, and I'm going to tell it up here in the transform controls, the angle, I want to say turn it 45 degrees. So we'll do that. And then we're just going to center it real good. And about right there. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll do that. Nice. Command or Control T if you want to make it even bigger or smaller. Now you can do that. I'll keep it about right there. It might be going up into the lettering. I can't tell because of his head. Again, if you're doing this for a set or a client, you can tell by this top line it should not be going up there now. But if you're doing this for a job, obviously spend a little more time with it, get it right. Hide your subject here. All right, so I want to keep that there. Now our color cast is all off. I forgot to black that mask out, so we're still black and white here on our colors. So let's click this mask, Command or Control Delete again. All right, now we're kind of back to the beginning here. So we're going to get another big soft light again. I'm going to put this at 20% opacity because you just want to brush it in gradually. I'm just going to go along the lights here and brush that color cast in. Let's go bigger and do the same thing because that light's just going to gradually spread as a gradient. And there we go. I want to keep it there. Now I want to come down to like 10%. I'm just going to brush it in the corners here just a little. You can't see behind him, but I'm just going to put a dot right there, one little click right there in the middle. And so that's your mask. That's what the color cast is doing. So it's just casting everywhere in the background. All right, that's really it. If you wanted to redo the smoke, you can. You have the smoke brushes. Let's do that real quick. Actually, let's black out these smoke layers. So Command or Control Delete to turn our smoke layers black. Command or Control Delete. The white is just there for to give you a little dimension. So when you open your brush folder, I don't have it installed here because mine are everywhere, but you will be getting these 6 smoke brushes and you'll be getting this light effect. Oh, I still got to show you how to do the light flare too, so we'll get into that in just a minute. All right, so I like picking the one with the little, it'll have an icon of a brush and a square. What these do is they will, here I'll just show you instead of talking about it. Let's grab that one, there we go. I'm going to make it smaller up here. You see it's right now it's 3,400 pixels. So I'm going to bring it down to about 25. And it automatically picks a flow of 3%. So when you're done using this and you pick another brush, you're going to think it's broken. It's not. Just click flow, bring it back up to 100. All right, so now what we're going to do is let's go to our pink smoke. We're just going to brush it in very subtly. So we're going to do just like we did with the color cast. We're just going to go along this diamond. Do it a couple more times. And you see it starting to just kind of gradually build in there. Let's do it right in the middle here. Let's do a stripe right across the top, maybe one more. There we go. Then right here across the bottom. And see, it's not too crazy. Don't go nuts with it. With your mask, it's going to look very thin here. And that's all we did. It's just very subtle, just a little bit of smoke. Let's make it smaller. Let's take it down to like 1200. And I want to just hit these corners a little bit. All right, now let's brush in a little white. And again, you can come in here and you can make it pink if you want. Like just here, let's just do a red. Kind of like we did with the color glow on the text. I would just do it very subtly though, like that. Let's try some of that. All right, click that mask. We still have the brush. Sorry, the smoke brush. So now we're just adding in a little dimension now. I'll put a few streaks across the top. Let's go along the diamond, just one path. See what that does. Take a streak across the bottom. I'm going to do Command Z to undo that. Went a little too heavy across the bottom. So one more quick little path. I'll do one more around the diamond. A little behind him. There. Now I want to make it big, a little bigger. Let's go to 3,000. And then I'm just going to do a couple streaks just right across, and this just scatters it everywhere. And there you have it. Honestly, I probably did a little too much, but it could be the color cast that I'm looking at. Maybe that's a little too much. So it's at 80% the opacity. I want to bring it down just a hair, 70. But yeah, just get in here and play with it. So that's how your smoke layers are going to work as well. So feel free to get in here, go nuts with it. I almost forgot to show you the light flares here. So let's go to that real quick. All right, let's go down to background lights again, and then we're on this light flare layer. So now this is the brush that came, the new brush that came with the pack. Sorry, hit B for brush. There we go. Now we're going to get this guy. And all it is just a big oval. It's the same one I used to put shadows under my feet, except that one is horizontal. All right, so how we're going to do this is you want to angle it the same direction your lights are going. I did these at 45 degrees. So right here, let's look, it's at -90, which is odd. All right, so we're just going to type in 45. We're on the flares layer on the black mask. I like to do a flow of 50. Let's try that out. And I'm going to make this a little bigger at first. I want to do different sizes. I want to be making the brush bigger and smaller as I go. So right here, let's go right there. We'll do one. Let's do one right here. Let's make it a little smaller now. And I want to do one in the same spot. And then the same spot here. I want to come right down here and just do one more that's a little smaller. I'm making my brush smaller again. Right there. Now let's do -45. Should angle it the other way. There we go. I'm going to put another one right there. Let's put one right behind his ear here. I want to make it bigger. And I want to do one right there. Alright, then I want to come right here and I'm just going to do one right there. And that's all. So that's just adding a little flare from the tube lights. Just kind of helps sell it a little bit more, I feel like. And And that's really about it. If you have any questions with any of this, let me know. This is going to work the same on all the templates. Your team templates obviously is going to be the same. You're just going to drag more subjects in there. If you have any questions or concerns about this, feel free to contact me. But yeah, this one, you just go in there and play with these lights, get creative, have fun, do jersey numbers. You can do team letters, especially in the team templates where you have a wider area to work with. You probably spell out like the initials of the team or high school or something like that. Yeah, just get in here, get weird, get creative, and please show me what you do with this. I can't wait to see what everybody creates, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. Cool. All right, thanks, guys.